Well, hello again. It has been a little bit. I do apologize. I think what we're looking at right now is what is it today? Today's Tuesday. Um, yeah, 2 weeks, 2 weeks and 2 days. Oh, the terrible twos. uh, well, I'm not gonna make any excuses. I'm just gonna say exactly what it was. Work, work, and more work. Such is the way of things. I think I did mention in one of my other babblings that the first quarter was a very very busy quarter for me, and usually then things kind of smoothed out. And that again, when I came into fall, because we come into a period of time of change freezes, we come into the winter holidays, starting with Thanksgiving. So right before Thanksgiving, about the 6 weeks before that, is another crunch time for us as people across the company are trying to finish off their projects before the end of the year. And when we hit freeze time for us in infrastructure, that means we can't make changes. So you need to have all your changes done before that. So plus, they stuck me into something I'm not used to doing. So I'm um, I'm having to burn a bit of extra time in order to try to maintain some sort of ground. Uh, I'm not really certain. I'm not really certain if it's going to be a good thing or not. I have to wait and see. At any rate, if you look at the current hangar, of course you can see things have been updated slightly. Um, I did, as you can see, get my scatters and put them on here. Um, that is a fun little setup. It does seem to work okay because that you don't get good healing after that. So it really does kind of chip away at things. But when it comes down to it, I primarily use this one right here. And if I can't drop the Titan immediately after this, I typically will drop this. And then after this, I can drop the Titan. And then if I drop the Titan after the first one and the Titan goes down, then I switch to that, and so on and so forth and so on and so forth. I'm curious because we got 20 days left, right? And they did a thing for the ultimate Nodens, and I don't expect them to really do another throwback to another, because they did the ultimate Nodens to do a throwback to another ultimate bot, but I do kind of expect them to do another round or give people another opportunity to try to get the scatters and the devastators to get the revenant. Not the pilot, but the scatters and the devastators. And if they do that, I'm definitely going to jump on the scatters. I don't know about the devastators. I might do the devastators because then, I don't need two of them, but I'd kind of like to take and set this up as a full Sonic build for popping into things. I think that could be kind of fun. You know, uh, I am slowly collecting cards again as I haven't opened any since those early volleys. Um, oh wow, I didn't realize I had that many of those. They have been growing, haven't they? I'll be darned. Um, so there, I'm somewhere along the way. I'm gonna have to. Well, I don't know. See, this one I might do it a little differently than I normally do. Normally, I wait until the bitter end. But because I am probably going to go for, if this comes up again for another round of those, and I can score myself, not another Revenant, don't use it, but another one of these, I'll go for that. In which case, I'll need to open up probably a bunch of cards. The other thing that I'll go for at some point in time if they do it. See, like right now, if you go out there and you say, oh, you need more data, weapon data pads, okay. Silver though, you need like 100 in some of these, so not really worth the time. I tried it early on, the drop rate blows. But when we get to these ultimate chances, see, this is the Nodens, right? This will be over real soon. These were all robots and titans. No interest in that. Don't need another node. Even your ultimate chance down here, it was all just robots. Titan, robot, robot. It was all that. So what I'm hoping for is when they turn back around and they say, hey, let's try to, give you another chance at the 3 weapons for the Revenant, that what we end up getting is you go back to what is it, the special edition data pads, and preferably, although I probably won't get so lucky, those and weapon and gold weapon data pads, right? Because those are the 2 that give the mediums and the lights that I need. Well, I needs not necessarily the thing want is probably a better way to put it. So I'm just kind of waiting. So if they come around with those, because we got 20 days left in the event, we got 10 hours, or basically, tomorrow we'll be done with the 1 for the Nodens thing. Those will drop off. Then they'll probably have, because they've got the leaderboard stuff going on, or the actual tournament stuff, stage 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll probably get some 2 to 4 leaderboard items that will either get you to a data pad, or will get you to, we see them sometimes, nothing to do with the ultimates, but something else, some other drone or some other item, pilot or something like that, as far as that goes. And then I'm hoping after those go through, because those will run for what, 3 days, 4 days, something like that, which would get us through the weekend into next week, right? Is that then now we're down to less than 15 days, getting down close to 10 days. At that point, I would hope that we would see another one for the scatters. That's my theory. And then with those ones, if I have to open a bunch of data pads for those to get those ones, then I might as well just go through the bulk of anything else that I get at that time, because I'm not likely to get much after that. Not really. I'll get stuff, but I won't be pushing for anything, and so I probably won't get anything other than just some silver data pads as far as that goes. It's been real up and down out in the old field of battle. Seems real hit or miss. Sometimes I do good, sometimes I just get smoked. Welcome to the wonderful world of solo flying. I did get a chance finally, for the first time ever, get a chance to drop into a couple matches with was it Mech Animal? These are real nice guys. He's real nice. It is kind of funny though that after the second match, he needed to lay out some rules. Apparently I'm not playing the game proper. Apparently, there are more approved ways to play the game. I find it kind of interesting. I'm not sure. I don't tend to agree with that stuff. Because I just don't know. That's what I forgot. I forgot something. Oh, too late. Arr! But anyways, though, not really certain, there's no real difference then between him. There was one guy, I forget, what was his name, Dennis or something, which basically, put all these self-created kind of rules onto the game to kind of determine what was or was not fair. And I don't know. I don't know that you can really do that effectively. You know, because, you know, who's deciding this, right? You know? Is a camper deciding what's fair? Because if he is, that seems kind of messed up because, you know, I'm not a camper, right? Is it a, you know, is it a super restrictive person? Like, you know, oh, you know, I want this to all be like some sort of personal challenge. You know? Oh my, I lost track of what I was doing. Oh, well, my team's getting smoked anyway, so no big deal. You know, I just don't ever really understand that because it's like, in order for that to actually be functioning, in order for someone to be able to say, you know, because he was literally saying, oh yeah, we should shame people for what they play with. Really? Shame people for their choices in a video game? Yeah, it seems a bit excessive to me. Seems a little authoritarian, you know? I really can't get into that. I just can't, like, you know. When I see someone needing to take that level of control, right, over their environment, right, not over themselves, but over their environment, I'm not. That's somebody that I usually think to myself doesn't have much control at a certain level within their life, right? And so because they don't have much control within their life, they really need to try to exercise control on the things that are around them. And, you know, that's just my feelings on it. You know, it's like a thing, I used to think that way ages ago, you know, you'd be in the city or whatever, and you'd see somebody that just feels the need to walk right out in front of all the traffic to cross the street, right? Doesn't go to the corner, doesn't go to the lights, whatever, just, you know, feels the need to stop traffic with their presence. I couldn't help but think that was a person that just didn't have much control of anything in their life. And so that right there was their way of exercising some control, some kind. You know, I could be completely wrong, but I've typically encountered in my life the people that, you know, how should I say, that just seemed like they had their shit together, pardon my French, but you know, those people didn't really seem to feel the need to control the world around them quite as much. You know? And it's not a matter of wealth or anything like that. No, I think it's a matter of just feeling like you're in control of your life. And when you don't feel like you're in control of your life, well, you kind of want to exercise control over something. Right? Don't know. You know, but the thing about it is, as soon as you decide on anything, that you are in a position to shame another person for their choices. Be very aware of what you're saying. Be very aware of the fact that what you're saying is that you make better choices than they do. You're putting yourself up on a pedestal, right? You're saying, I know better. Therefore, this is the way it should be. And I'm going to shame you if you don't do it the way I want it done. I'm sorry. That's a lot of ego. I mean, you know, I don't remember anybody coming around and saying, hey, Rez, you know, what's your opinion on what's fair or unfair? No, 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 no. I don't remember anybody going around to a whole lot of people. I don't remember any polls going out there. I don't remember anything coming out of the game or out of Pixonic. I don't remember anything in the rules that mentioned anything about, oh, you know, how fast you could drop your Titan. No, there's nothing. Yeah, of course, I drop my Titan in 2 minutes or less. That's my average, right? Yeah, if I'm pushing it and taking my time, it's at 3 minutes. Milked it out. But unless I'm just really getting stomped down hard, but it's not very often you run into that kind of stuff. So for the most part, yeah, and I dropped one in 2 minutes. No big deal, or less, probably less. I know I had the first one out, but the thing about it is, why is there a Titan charge bar? Is that arbitrary? Does the Titan charge bar just mean nothing? Right? Is it meaningless? Was it put into the game? Was it instituted without purpose? Is the reality of it is you're not supposed to drop your Titan until the very bitter end? So till all is already lost, until you've burned through all your bots, till you've essentially mech'd out. Really? You think that's what the game devs had in mind? This is what they thought of when they put that in there? It's arbitrary and it's unfair if you use it as a marker of when you can drop your Titan. I mean, that's how I look at it, right? I look at it like this. Oh, hey, look, there's my charge bar. Oh, hey, look, it's charged. That means at this point now, within the game mechanics, as designed, as intended, I'm allowed to drop my Titan now. Okay. Are you saying that I'm charging it too fast? Is that like saying that I'm too good, so I have to handicap myself? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I don't understand. It seems to me that being able to charge your Titan bar fast is a reflection of skill, capability, because the number one way to charge the Titan bar is to kill. The more kills you get, the faster you get them, the faster that bar charges. And true, you can get a little bit of a bump, getting beacons, but you're not gonna barnstorm your Titan charge with beacons. It's just not gonna happen. You have to get kills. The reason why the new weapons are the best at doing that is because they can one-shot things and they can do massive damage in a very short period of time. The reason why the Tesla weapons worked and still work, but they kind of fixed it, is that it's the number of opponents at one time. When you get into those things where there's 2 or 3 people at a beacon all brawling for it, those Teslas, that's when they really kick in, because the particle effect is spread across multiple bots, and so you get the damage. So I think the problem that they were having was this: you were getting the multi-bot effect on a single bot, right? It was just saying, oh well, all the particles are hit, and it really wasn't calculating the bots. And I think when they got it calculating the bots, now then people were like, well, it doesn't charge as fast because you can't go up against a single bot and get that massive charge. But you could still go up against a group of bots and get it. However, let's face it, the range on that thing sucks. It's a bear to use, right? Wish that guy wouldn't have just stand in front of him like that. Kind of blocked my shot. Kind of a cock block. I hate using that kind of language, not my thing. But it does seem to kind of fit. He got right in the way at just the wrong time. That's a great... Is that guy taking any damage? He must have a Bifrost. Oh, he finally did take some damage. Dang. I don't know if we're going to be able to pull this one out. I suppose I could switch, but I think we need beacons. This guy is still a little beacon runner. Uh-oh. Well, I think they read my mind. That's all I can say. Man, they just keep dropping over here. You know, look, come on, people, I'm a beacon runner. Just let me have the beacon. I earned it. Ah, I earned it. What to do? What to do? You know, I don't know. I don't think we're gonna win this one. We've been like behind for a long time, but you never know. You never know. It's hard to say sometimes. Although in this particular case, I don't know that it's really that hard to say. I mean, if you look at it, we're kind of being swarmed. But yeah, you know, I don't understand. You know, I don't know. Where's the line, right? Where is the line that says, oh yeah, you know, if you do this, you know, that's not sporting, it's not fair. I don't know. I don't know that I buy that. I have a tendency to look at it this way. You know, what's the design? Okay? It's very simple. What's the design? You know, so when I look at something like the Titan bar in particular, well, it's very clearly you have a charge bar. When it's charged, you're allowed to use it. Anything put on top of that after that is an individual preference pretending at morality. It's not real morality because it's actually not an issue. It wasn't obviously considered an issue by the people who created the game. So you're making an issue out of something that wasn't intended to be an issue. I don't know that really qualifies it as being legitimate. Not really. That thing? Hopefully you're going over there to get that. Alright, good. Firepower downfield over here. Nope, they finally got me. Oh, I know, but I had to push it, right? I had to push it a little bit. And so the question now is, are we going to be able to get far enough back? We've lost so many, you know, that you're not going to be able to. Go. He was coming after me. Bad him. Take this back real quick. There we go. Alright, see, this is what we need definitely here. This is the beacon count we need. Okay, so how are we doing, boys? Hold tough, come on. Woo! Tight one. Where's the other guy go? Where is he? Oh, there he is. Okay. Alright. Yeah, so I think it's all kind of, you know, I understand where he's coming from, right? It's unfair. It's unfair. It's all unfair. There's far too much rock, paper, scissors in this game for anyone to be able to say, oh, if you just do X and Y, it's going to be fair. There is only one way to make this game fair, and that is to play in the meta. You want the fairest game available in War Robots? You're going to play in the meta. You're not going to play at the bottom. You're not going to, arbitrarily handcuff yourself, right? You're going to play in the meta, and that's how you're going to have the fairest fights, where there's no discrepancies there, where everybody's using literally just a handful of bots, and you work within those defenses. In that regard, it's like going back to when War Robots first came out, and there were just a handful of bots. That's what you worked with, right? And there were just a handful that were actually at the top. If you go back, let's just say you want to handicap something, right? You've got to put a marker on it, a clear line that can easily be defined, and to say, oh, you can't use a stealther mothership. You can use a Bifrost, but you can't use a Bifrost if it has X and Y turrets on it. I mean, no, this is just arbitrary nonsense being made up as you go along, and it doesn't have any value. It doesn't. You got to have some sort of consistency. So you got to have something that you can look at and you can point and you can say, there's a line. This is why if you go here and you look, you can do this line by the types. If you draw your line right here at the region and you look at what's underneath there, you get rid of a lot of your bots that start getting funky, your teleporters and all that, and you really just have your dash bots and your British invasion here, right, and a few others. And that's it. And your weapons are equally as limited. Your best weapons back then are your Terrans and your Orkans, and not a lot else. But you can't go and you can't say, oh, well, you can use any of these bots, but arbitrarily you can't do this, you can't do that, or you can't do this, you can't do that. You know what? There used to be a short story. I read it many, 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 many years ago. It was about a society where people that could see well had to wear glasses that made their vision a little bit off. People could hear well had to wear earmuff things over them. People that were physically more stronger than the average had to carry around extra weight. They set about trying to make everything even and fair, and how you have to do that in no other way it can be done, because you can't elevate that which cannot be elevated, is that you have to weaken that which is strong. There's no other way around it. And look for that short story. Look for a short story in a society where, people with good eyes had to wear glasses, and people, had to carry the extra weight and stuff. Look for that, because, what's the difference between that and what people in this game are asking for when they say, no, that's not fair. This is nowhere in the rules, and it's never, but my personal preference of fairness, and, based upon my great wisdom on the matter, my infallible wisdom even, you might say, you can't do that. No, nay. And matter of fact, you should be shamed for doing such things based upon my preference. I just don't buy it. Now, it's his stream, right? It's Mech's stream. And in his stream, his rules rule. End of story. It's his stream. But when he starts saying you need to shame people, you need to, no. No, that's just crazy talk. I mean, that's a bit authoritarian. That's a bit out there. And again, that's not an opinion shared by all. So, before you start saying that you're going to go out there and, shame people, you're going to go out there and act as though that you're carrying some sort of moral position, higher position than somebody else, based on personal preference and nothing else, you're in the wrong at that point. You're not carrying that higher position. And the fact that you would think that you are and think that you're in a position to shame another person just based upon your personal preference, you need to rethink your relationship with God. You know, because yeah, I can rest assured you that that is not your role in this life, no matter what your path is. All right. Let's see. Ah! Pushy push. Ah, I'm not gonna be able to get this one, am I? It's gonna be too late. Oh, no, 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 I got it. Yeah. Oh, nice. Now, I will say that, you know, I have learned. Who's picking on me? Somebody's shooting me right away. What did I do? I haven't even shot anybody yet. Just sitting out here, minding my business. People just shooting at me and stuff. I haven't quite figured out what's going on there. I see that quite often where when you hit the Rexes, you get that instant back up. Not like you took a chunk off or it turned yellow like it does sometimes, but where it'll go down and just instantly come back. Now, I haven't quite figured out what that mechanic is. I don't really understand it, so any thoughts on that would be appreciated, because I just don't know. Ah, just frozen. 8:22. So there, minute and 38 seconds in. All right. This is just not uncommon, right? For me, anyways. So that's why I lack appreciation for someone saying, "No, no, you're not allowed to do that." What? What do you mean? What do you mean? I kind of earned it, didn't I? I mean, literally, I earned it, right? Are you saying I didn't earn it? Are you saying that everybody does this and everybody's just holding back? I don't think so. You know what? I finally have gotten to the point with the Princeps where I can not really have to really think about it too much, but on certain maps I can get into those positions now where I can toss people off. When I first started using it, I couldn't do that. I swear I had the hardest time. I'd try to get in there and I'd knock them into something, or I'd only get the first one. I couldn't get the second one. Then I get wasted, and because the Princeps, it's actually fairly soft, right? So if you don't have your special ability up, or you're not using the stealther, you know, you're very very vulnerable. There's the other thing too. Oh yeah, you can't use a stealther. Why? You got bots that can stealth. Oh, you can stealth too much. You can get stealth back to back. I don't know. Everybody up at the top seems to deal with it just fine, so why can't the people further down deal with it? There's another question you have to ask yourself. If you look at my hangar, for example, right? And we'll just do this to see if it make it nice and simple like. Then we just do this. Oh, we don't even. Yeah, no, that doesn't matter. But I don't have any quantum radars. No quantum radars on anything here, right? Nothing here, nothing here. No quantum radars on any of these things. I do have on him. Everybody puts the seeker on this one, so I do have 200 meters on him. And I have the seeker again, Nahechi, because he's got a shield. Everybody's got a seeker on him. But you can see, I'm not loaded down, and I don't really use anything back there. I'm not loaded down with things to deal with stealth. Yet it's all over at the top. The thing I wonder about sometimes is, does anybody stop to think or actually ask the people at the top what they think the balance issues are, instead of asking people who aren't playing at the top, right? And by aren't playing at the top, I don't mean not that they're not in the 100, but they're not playing with the gear. They're not playing that game. And, because would that alter their sense of fair or of balance if they were actually participating in that upper tier game, right? But, I don't sit and whine about all the stealthing, right? I just deal with it. I don't sit and whine about all the one-shots. I'm just as vulnerable as anybody is to them, right? If I can one-shot someone, they can one-shot me. End of story. Do you hear me complaining about it? Do you hear other people like me sitting around whining about, oh my god, I can't take this anymore? No. We have good matches, we have bad matches, but there is an area where we run into people who complain a lot about it. And I don't know. I don't know that I agree with it morally or philosophically, right? Nobody has yet to convince me that their arbitrary preference actually equals a better game. Because here's the other thing too. Everybody's yeah, it's ruining the game. It's ruining the game. I've told you guys this before. I played this. I started playing this just before the Gepards were released. Gepards were brand new shortly after I started. Within a week and a half, somewhere around there, very shortly after I started, and just really got going and got past the opening stuff, the Gepards were released, and you could run around with the Gepard magnums, and those cost gold. Back then, all the other, there wasn't platinum and all these other currencies. It was just silver and gold, and you could buy gold. Golly jeepers gee, what did I do? Oh, let me think. Oh, that's right. I had a hangar full of Gepards. I had what was essentially the meta at the time. And I have been listening to people complain about the meta and the meta ruining the game ever since. Literally. Ever since the Gepard Magnum was released. Oh man, you should have listened to people whine incessantly on the forums and stuff about the old the Gepard Magnum. Oh, I hate the sound of those Magnums. And then you get these people who are whining about it when the aphids were released. Oh, the Gepard aphids, it's impossible. They don't even have to see you. And, every iteration seems to go through that. And here we are, what now? Oh, 12 years in? And the story hasn't changed. It just hasn't changed. The game is pay to play at the top. If somebody takes a pay to play hangar from the top, like mine, and they don't have skill and they end up down at the bottom, then that becomes pay to win. Sad but true. And the reality of it is just like NASCAR, just like Indy, just like any other kind of activity out there, doesn't matter what it is, he who can invest the most usually has the best. Doesn't matter if it's a sports team, a race car, doesn't matter. And so as long as you are not playing a game where it's like a PUBG or something where everybody starts exactly from the same place every time and only has the same things available to them every time, there's really no point. You know what I mean? It really serves no function to complain about fairness, because there's no real way you're going to make it fair. You're just going to make it to your preference, right? And at that point, your best bet is literally just to either accept your lot in life, kind of very real world, or put your butt into the meta. That's it. Very simple. See, now my Titan hasn't charged yet, This doesn't charge as fast as the other weapons. It's a little slower to dole out quite as much damage, even though it is very effective. Ooh, this guy out of here. Yeah, we love you. See, and was it the old Elvis thing? We love you, baby. I don't know. Oh, man. Here's the way I look at it, right? Is make the best with what you have and be grateful for where you are. There's no right to success. And everybody's measure of it is different. My sense of what makes me successful is going to be very different from what makes somebody else successful. He's got me on the run. Pushy. Uh-oh, he's gonna get me now. How are we doing, boys? Well, looks like we're holding ground a little bit here now, huh? What to do, what to do? Go with this guy. Good for holding ground. Yeah. Don't make me come in there and get ya. Right the left. I'm a beacon room. Bum 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 bum. Oh man! No, quit dragging it out. Let's just get this over, people. I don't know. I guess for me, the only way that you can really do it, like I said, is you know, because the only thing that we really have that is universal and cannot be argued with is the game mechanics. What is allowed within the game mechanics? What was set up within the interface and how things work, right? That tells us a lot about what was intended. And I guess if somebody wants to try to convince me that they can see something within the game mechanics that puts these limitations in place that they're so interested in implementing, then, you know, I'm open to listening. But so far, the only thing I've heard from anybody just comes straight down to preference. Personal preference. And preference is not equivalent to and cannot be a substitute for morality. So you cannot put your preference into the position of a moral judgment. Can't be done. Where do we end up anyways? Is with all of this? Close. I'm getting there. 7,700. How much time do we have left? 7 days, huh? So yeah, okay, cool. Because I do like it when I can crack 8K before the end of the season. So that would be nice. I'd like that. Definitely. Well, hopefully, you know, things will lighten up a little bit at work. I don't expect it to happen this coming weekend, you know. You know what they started having me do? They started having me make PowerPoint presentations. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't mind it. You know, it's like a low level kind of creative outlet, right? And it's better than taking like calls and stuff, right? You know, but at the same time too, um, they have me be a participant in the last two, and I don't know. They got another one coming up now that's supposed to be purely for a certain small group of upper execs. And I don't think a decision has been made on who's supposed to do that presentation, but I'm not really keen on that. And you know, when I say I had to participate in the last two presentations, we're talking about doing a presentation in front of upper 300s, a little below 400 people per presentation. You know, uh, I told them I'm a recluse. You know, I'm not that guy. uh, and I have to laugh, and I have to laugh because at the end of it all, they liked what I did, and they said, no, 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 you don't think you're that guy, but you are that guy. And now I'm sitting here in this position going, no, 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 no. You think I'm that guy, but I'm not actually that guy. I'm an old duffer, right? You know, I'm not looking to get anywhere with my career at this point. I'm just looking for stability over the next several years. So I have peace of mind going into retirement. That's all I'm really looking for. You know, if I was in my 40s and this opportunity came along, I'd be like, oh yeah, sure, yeah, I got 20 years left. Perfect. I'm 58. I'm looking at it going, eh, you know, this is a lot of stress. This is a lot of work. And what's the reward? More leadership work? Do I really want that? Is that really something I want at this point? I don't know. Don't know. I'm a little surprised that they're interested in having me do anything at all with a presentation because, you know, I got a nasally voice, and you know, I got kind of a, you know, I got kind of a goofy way of talking, and I got a silly laugh, and I laugh at awkward times and stuff. And you know, when I look at the corporate world and I think of the executives, I don't know that I would be the person you would put in front of them. You know, I don't know. I might be a little too loose sometimes. I don't know. I don't know. Winter's coming to a close. Next month I need to go up to my property and make sure things are cleaned out, check things, how things settled over the winter, because I haven't been up there since last November. And my septic should be going in. Should start going in. Have to wait because, you know, there's no paved roads out where my place is. And so I have to wait until far enough into spring that the water's drained and stuff so that they can bring the heavy equipment out on those roads because they have weight limits during the early part of the spring. But once they do that, because they have to be able to get an excavator out there to dig and stuff. So once they do that, they'll get that put in. And I've already got the funds available, and so that I'm going to be able to get that to them to. This has already been prepaid. This is already done. It's a done deal. I don't owe a penny on this now. We're just waiting for spring to come so that they can get the work done. Everything's been paid for already. And I'm going to be prepaying for another section to have the entire inside of the pole barn done, get the boiler in there so the heated floor can be in there and all of that good stuff. And if everything goes according to plan, by this October, at the latest, hopefully, cross my fingers, right? I'll be able to transition up there and move out of the city. Oh, wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be nice? And then I tell you what, if I get up there, right? Because I've got gigabit fiber up there. I'm going to get a new computer for up there. I'm going to replace this old laptop that I'm running on right now, and I might actually try to see if I can't just, you know, stream a Rambles, right? Not that anybody needs to listen to it, but when I watch the people stream, the one thing I notice is it's very easy for them to do clips, and and they can pull content from it, and they don't have to do it separately and put it out there. It's out there, and then they can pull the clips from it. So I don't know, but I also don't really. I'm not real keen on. I don't have any real purpose to it, right? I'm not trying to generate an audience per se. I just, I would look at it kind of like a hangout, right? Being able to hang out, talk to, and play with the people that I've gotten to know over time. I think that would be the best way to do it. Now, that is something that I observed with Mr. Bill. So kudos to Mr. Bill on that one. Um, I think, especially as somebody who's going to be living out in the middle of nowhere, I think possibly being able to hang out and play games with friends could be fun. We shall see. Only time will tell. Only time can tell. Ah. Oh, I have another presentation to put together this weekend. Ah. So this, and a little bit of time this weekend is my game time, is my free time. I'm gonna try to be a little bit more active. I know I said that before, but work has its demands, and they're new demands, so I'm struggling with them, to be honest. At any rate, people, I wish you and yours well. I hope that for every rainy day that you find yourself in, you also find yourself standing in the sun. It's tough out there. Take care of yourselves, people.